Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending upon where you are. Let me welcome all of you for this 20th and 21st International Symposium on Cluster Cloud Internet Computing, CC Grid 2020 and 2021. So it's a joint conference. We made it virtual conference. You all know the reason. So when we organized this 2020, our aim was to host, 20th anniversary of this conference, which was, initially born here in Australia. So, but unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we postponed to the late of 2020. Then, of course, that continued, and then we postponed to 2021. Even that is not happening. So, I'm very glad that all of you are still joining us in virtual fashion. Of course, if it was in person, you would have all had an opportunity to come to Melbourne physically. And I'm sure those of you who are visiting Australia first time, you would have loved to visit some of our forests, rainforests, zoos, and so on, where you would get an opportunity to see kangaroos and even hug koalas. So, but hopefully, maybe in future events, we will definitely, try to fill up that gap by providing an opportunity to be part of, real physical event. So, just briefly about CC Grid. CC Grid continue to be a global conference with the global theme and representation. So we have participants from all over the world, um, and then even the locations where conference was held, and you can see it was held in different countries around the world. Initially, we started in Australia, then we moved all around the world, then again back to Australia. So it will continue. And if you really look at in depth where all it was held, and you can see this here, you see picture of conference locations where it was all held. I know you can see we went to all over the world, like including North America, South America, and then of course, various countries in Europe, then in Asia, and then Australia. So we are truly a global conference now. But 2021 jointly here in Melbourne, but we have a plan for next year. Next year event is going to be in Italy. So we are sincerely hoping that by the time the world may be cleared from this pandemic, then we can have our event in person in Italy. Then after that in India. So certainly we are seeking express of interest for those willing to host this conference for 2024 or 2025. So those of you who have regularly attended, so feel free to contact me or any of our steering committee members. So we love to receive your bid, and then we can look forward to hosting this event in your country. So that is in brief, just inviting you to be part of our event. Then of course CC Grid, is continue to save the field, and then as and when various new computing paradigms have emerged, so CC Grid, almost one of the first conferences to feature those, paradigms. So and recently we have been featuring almost last 4 or 5 years we have been featuring various aspects of Internet of Things, edge computing, fog computing. These are broadly Internet computing paradigm to support cyber physical system and applications driven by smart world in different areas, including healthcare and so on. And within that, there are various software engineering principles and challenges as well. Accordingly, we feature different speakers who drive that innovation in that area. So that is, so as a result, this grid computing work that we had in CC Grid, so we replaced that by internet computing. So this way, the title is grid replaced by grid internet computing, but the acronym we kept it as it is because it became a brand. So this is about the various new areas that conference is featuring. Then in terms of brief stats for CC Grid, last year and this year submission and acceptance and so on, we received papers from 810 co-authors, that is 234 papers from 810 co-authors, and out of those 66 were accepted, around 26%. So the submissions were came from 25 countries around the world. So obviously, countries like US was the major, prominent submissions, large number of submission and high quality submission, then followed by other countries, then Europe and so on. And then for this year, 2021, so we received a similar number of papers, 230 from 812 co-authors who authored those papers. And out of them, 60 are accepted. We kept acceptance rate of 26%. And the number of countries from where authors originated were from 47 countries. Yeah. So this is the overall statistics. You will hear more about this from our PC chair and how the process went on. So we are expecting, as we can see, so every second we have some joining. So of course, the conference with multiple time zones, we couldn't really settle what is the best timing to go for. Then finally, we thought at least we try to make reasonable time for Australia. Of course, Australia is perfectly okay, 2 to 4 p.m. Then for rest of the world, Asia, it is perfect. Some countries are 2 hours behind, some are 4 hours behind, but they can easily works out. And then Europe region will fine. And of course, US be difficult. So, but however, some of our colleagues have joined. Then, so I'd like to thank all of them for joining us. So overall program, all of you already glanced. So this is just a brief. This is a live part of the program. Essentially, we made this into the prominent keynote and the best paper tags as a live. Then the rest all are pre-recorded videos, offline recorded videos, and we made them available on YouTube channel. And I definitely encourage all of you to look at the rest of the papers, and if you want to hear the full presentation of those papers, you can just click on and it will take you to the video and you can hear. Yeah, so that's the best we were able to do given our various time zone constraint. And this is the plan for next 3 days, today and tomorrow and after tomorrow. So I love to see many of you joining and also others joining us. Tomorrow and after tomorrow. So we have each day keynote talk, and then of course we also have we choose on 3 best paper from 2020 and 3 from 2021, and we just mix them, and then each day we are featuring 2 of those. Okay, so this is the brief program. I don't need to repeat. Yeah, you can see we have keynote speaker from Australia, from US, from Europe. So it is truly a worldwide representation. So putting together such a conference and managing large number of submissions, selecting quality papers, then is a really a big task. And this is where our colleagues who served as program chairs played a major role. So for 2020 we had 2 program chairs, Carlos and Laurent. Then for 2021 we had 3. There is Lawrence, Stacy, and Eng Lee. So I put all of them together for 2021. So they have put in enormous effort, and I like to sincerely thank and acknowledge their enormous contribution. Working hard to make this program happen. Then obviously putting together such a conference requires many other members helping us. Say for example, our proceedings, web and finances, so have helped a lot, especially putting together this virtual event, and then where we need to collect all the videos and create a YouTube channel, publish there, so coordinate. This is the first time we did it. Then learn how to do it. This all enormous effort was put by especially my colleagues, 2 of them my PhD students actually. So Godarji and also Shashikant. So they interacted with program chairs and many other authors and make that happen. So I'd like to thank them as well. Of course, we have many workshops, workshop chairs and workshop organizers. I'd like to thank all of them. Yesterday, we had this ICFCC event that was done also through Zoom. So it was set to UK time. As a result, there was a very good number of participants from UK and of course US as well. That was so I joined briefly. It was midnight for us. Okay, so Dr. Simpojan, I like to thank all of them, and of course, I like to thank our publicity chairs as well. So we had several of them, so they have very actively in promoting the call for paper and help attract good submission from you can see 47 countries around the world each year. So which is an enormous effort. So we need their help for next future events also. So just to conclude, you can see CC Grid truly a global venue. So whenever we had in person, it was a great event where 4 days we were allowed together. Not only just hearing what they do, but also building friendship and develop collaborative networks. So that can lead to many other outcomes, including doing collaborative project. Some of them submitting collaborative, grant application, and we always had participants from industry who were presenting, and also that was a great venue for industry people to know what's happening in academia and academic people to what's happening in industry and build this cooperation. That's what we had, and I hope that next year we will be coming back to the style. So yeah, so I love you. I love would have loved to see all of you in Melbourne, but anyway, now we have to just see join virtually. Okay. So with that, let me stop here, and I'd like to thank all of you again for joining us. And please continue to join us for next 3 days. And we have put together a very good program with excellent keynote speakers, and then. Of course, each day, best papers selected by the program committee chairs and program committee members independently, and they will be featured. And the rest will be, via YouTube channel. Okay, so thank you. So I formally finish my opening introduction. So now I hand over, I invite program chairs. I guess Laurent is going to represent the program committee to share program committee message. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. And I asked the other PC chairs so to switch on their webcams and camera if they can. Carlos, Stacy, and Young, I see you are here. Hello, PC chairs. Hello, attendants. It's a good pleasure. It's a very good pleasure to see all of you this morning. As Raj mentioned, CC Grid is a very international and collaborative organization. So for 2020, we work with Carlos and myself to select papers and make the best selection that we can. And for 2021, it was a real pleasure also to work with Stacy and Young to make this selection. I thank all of you for this. I also want to thank all the topic chairs who were involved in this paper selection. So CC Grid is divided in topics on various aspects of distributed systems and internet computing. So the topic chairs were a lot involved, and I thank all of them for all their good work. And also, of course, we want to thank the PC members and the reviewers. CC Grid received a lot of submissions. We selected each year around 60 submissions with an acceptance ratio of 26 to 28% of acceptance. So we select the best papers for that. And we also today, tomorrow, and the day after propose you a best paper session. That will be the challenge, where we selected the 3 best papers among 2020 and 2021 submissions. It was not an easy task. And we propose to see a live presentation or maybe a remote presentation of the best papers. And you can discuss with the authors and make and ask some question. So it's very unfortunate that we can see you in person because this is what we like with CC Grid, to see a live attendance, to discuss with the authors, to discuss with the people. So I hope we will do that next year. And this is all for me as a co-PC chair. Carlos, Stacy, Young, if you want to add something, don't hesitate. I think they agree with me. So Raj, this is done for the PC chair message. The floor is yours for the keynote.